Good evening. I can reveal that the French are letting key members of illegal migrant smuggling gangs walk free from prison. French police stopped a man in the dead of night transporting an inflatable boat, a motor and 5 cans of gasoline to a town called Gravelines in northern France. Now, you might remember, actually, when I went to Gravelines and, believe it or not, this is what I found. Very sturdy stuff. It seems, I'm not sure I'd fancy it on the high seas, but quite a soft bottom. So you've got the outboard motor here. The smell of gasoline. The smell of gasoline comes through. So they caught a bloke red-handed with exactly that, in the back of a truck. And he happened to be a 29-year-old Ukrainian man who'd been living in Germany for a couple of years. All the boats used to get migrants into Britain from the French coast originate from Germany. A loophole allows those boats to be stored there because they're destined for Britain, which is a non-EU country, something that Sir Keir Starmer claims to have just stopped.
To thank Friedrich for his leadership on this, pledging decisive action to strengthen German law this year so that small boats being stored or transported in Germany can be seized, disrupting the route to the UK. And it's a clear sign that we mean business. We are coming after the criminal gangs in every way that we can.
So the police stopped this bloke and he said that he saw an advert for a transport service on Facebook where he was offered €230 to transport a delivery to Brussels. Then, during the journey, the location was changed to nearby the town of Gravelines in northern France, which is a long way away from Brussels. He claimed, he thought, he had no idea what he was transporting. No idea. Anyway, he was found guilty of transporting nautical equipment for the purposes of illegal immigration. And the prosecutor, naturally, wanted a custodial sentence. So, what do we think the French judge gave him? An 8-month suspended sentence. And he just left France. In fact, he's been banned from entering France for nearly 5 years, and he's had his car confiscated. I mean, do you remember when Sir Keir Starmer made such a big deal about getting Emmanuel Macron to help tackle the small boats? Yeah, they've just let him out, haven't they? This is why we need to control our own borders and start deporting people ourselves. Even when the French police catch a bloke red-handed with an inflatable boat, an engine and tanks of petrol on his way to a town where illegal migrants set off for Britain, a French judge will just send him on his way. Oh, and meanwhile, today,
there's no doubt it's a grim milestone, and we can confirm to you now that more than 25,000 small boat migrants have crossed the English Channel since the beginning of the year. 600 plus have crossed today alone, all 600 having reached UK waters, and all have been taken to Dover Harbour. The figure is somewhere in the region of 620 odd so far today.
Well, that report was a few hours ago, and now the figure is almost 900. 900 today alone. It's hopeless, isn't it?
Hello, I'm Bev Turner. Now, it can feel like the money in our bank accounts at the moment does not keep up with the cost of living, and maybe there's a solution. I'm here today with the CEO of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. Cameron, what is TallyMoney?
Well, Bev, with TallyMoney, you get a current account and a debit card, but instead of pounds, you use milligrams of gold as your everyday money.
So why gold?
Gold traditionally is a great store of value. It has, on average, gone up at over 11% per annum for the last 25 years against the pound. It's tripled in value in the last decade. And in the last 2 years alone, it's increased by 50% against the pound. Banks' savings products just can't compete with that level of growth.
But this isn't just about gold. This is about a currency that you guys have created at TallyMoney. Explain it to me as though I'm an idiot.
So, look, people need to be able to hold their earnings and build their savings in a money that retains its value and remains in their legal control and remains theirs to access, away from government control.
Great. You had me at not exposed to government control.
You should feel safe and happy with your money. You should have peace of mind. The more money you see in your bank balance, and that's the type of thing we're trying to deliver, and give people choice in the type of money they get to use every day.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Cameron. Thank you.
Let's get thoughts of my panel. Director of Popular Conservatives, Mark Littlewood. We've got the Tory MP, Esther McVeigh, journalist and broadcaster, Nina Mishkov. Mark, so we can reveal there exclusively that the French police caught a bloke with a small boat, an outboard motor and loads of petrol in a town where they are setting off from, and they've let him go.
It looks like the French courts didn't get the smash the gangs memo from Keir Starmer, right? I mean, look, I look at this in a very kind of economic incentive way. Those involved in the people smuggling and those who avail themselves of their services are actually making pretty logical mathematical calculations. What's the chance I'm going to get caught? If I am caught, what sort of penalty am I going to face? And if I avoid getting caught, how much money can I make? And at the moment, all of those favour the people smugglers and the people using them. Because even if you're caught, we now know that the penalty is pretty limited. So I'm not at all sure this entente cordiale with France is working at all well. There is only a limited amount that we can do to change the way that the French courts process this. So we've got to pull the levers that are actually in our own hands, which means if you arrive illegally, we should not entertain you staying here. You should certainly not be given a hotel. And all this diplomatic pressure that was going to be brought to bear on President Macron seems to have led absolutely nowhere. What a farce.
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely ludicrous, isn't it? There's a bloke here, like I said, who's just been caught red-handed, totally red-handed, doesn't even get a prison sentence.
Yeah, I agree with Mark, and then I'll add on to that. You've got as well a whole host of people who are prepared to do various elements of the smuggling. In this case, it was bringing the boat across. Now, this is like, and you think they would have learned from county lines. So you've got somebody right down the pecking order who's just getting a location, just getting some of the equipment, and he's got sort of a get out. So he is right down. So whenever Keir Starmer was talking about smashing the gangs, let's get real, he didn't have a chance. He should have listened to how difficult it is to do drugs and how difficult it is to do county lines. So, as you rightly say, we have got to take it into our own control and responsibility, not hands over to the people. And I've said Parliament needs to be recalled. This is a state of emergency, the numbers for immigration. We need to get everybody back. We've got to agree on what we're going to do, dust down the Rwanda plan immediately, because that's basically what Trump has based his scheme on, which has pretty much stopped all of the immigrants coming over the Mexican border. He's got to do that. And then, as we all know, we've got to get out the ECHR and we've got to stop the Human Rights Act.
Well, just Nina, on this, over the course of the last week or so, I think we've given irrefutable proof that the French are not actually our friends. So they're doing naff all in these migrant camps. Yesterday I revealed as well that there have been like mass shootings in some of these places. The French aren't going in and getting rid of these human traffickers or clearing the camps. And today we can reveal again that a bloke who's caught with a boat is just allowed to walk free. No question, by the way, he's just not allowed back in France. You know, off you go, we'll drop you off at the border, go back somewhere else. He can carry on doing whatever he's doing for the people smugglers. I mean, this is a farce. They are not helping us at all, are they?
Well, this particular judge, and I agree, it's ludicrous that it's quite obvious that what he was up to, and he should have been punished for that. But obviously, these things take time. You cannot just turn the tap off. And I think Keir Starmer is working pretty hard at it. The schmoozing with Macron, the royal visit, the state visit a couple of weeks ago, that's only a couple of weeks ago. It's got to filter down to a judge. 900
people crossed today, Nina.
Yes, but then it's only the last few days or the last week or so that the French police have been legally allowed to go into the water to stop the boats. It's only a couple of weeks since he made a deal with Merz of Germany that should be made illegal. That law is going to come in. Listen, we've had years of the Tories losing control of the borders. You cannot just, suddenly drop.
I find a few things pretty offensive, actually. Not what you said, but what was going on. I mean, that deal with Germany that was supposed to stop the transportation of these boats, that guy got caught a couple of weeks ago. So supposedly that deal with the Germans would have already come in or
no, it's going to come in by the... It's got to go through their parliament.
It'll have to go through their parliament. Fine, OK, fine. But the point here is the Germans have been content for warehouses full of small boats to be stored in their warehouses and then funneled through various countries and then into Britain, because the destination for those boats is Britain, which is outside the EU.
But
they're coming in illegally. It's not like you're posting a package, is it? They know it gets to Calais.
Well, Starmer is asleep at the wheel. It has absolutely gone through the roof since he's been in office. Whilst everything is happening at the moment, he doesn't want to know what's going on. He's been out of the country. In fact, what he's doing, the first thing he's doing is bringing in a snooping law, basically on law-abiding citizens, to stop them complaining.
He's bringing in a law to prevent our children from being encouraged to commit suicide, from being exposed to porn.
Totally separate parts of it.
No, it's
honestly,
not.
You kind of defend him all the time.
I'm not defending him. I didn't vote for him.
Anything.
I am not. I'm just being absolutely fair.
I
mean, totally fair, which you are not.
Is on other things and not the British public.
Isn't the key thing here? I rather disagree with Nina, actually. I don't think that the Prime Minister needs to work harder. I think he's got to work smarter and tougher. I don't think this is a question of perspiration and sort of...
I didn't say he's working...
Well, you said he's putting in a lot of hard work. The hard work is pointless unless you have a smart and tough strategy.
He does have a plan. He's got a plan with France, he's got a plan from... They've got a plan with Syria now. They're going to have the same kind of deal with Syria that we have with Albania. That's going to help.
He's had a year. You should be able to announce the outline of your strategy in days. We're more than a year in now, and progress is not being made. We're going backwards.
You should never have got rid of Rwanda when he didn't know what he was going to do. And we've just seen that has worked for Trump. You can indeed.
Right. OK, Rwanda. 300 hotel rooms.
No, but this isn't true. You've said this before. It's already increased. It already increased the size and scale.
Just answer the question. After the 300 hotel rooms were full, which is a plane load, then what?
No, see, this is where you don't know what you're talking about.
I do know what I'm sorry, but I do.
They've already escalated the numbers. They're already building it up. And like I said...
Come on. To what? Thousands? 50,000?
Yeah, you've got to build that sort of... That's exactly the capacity you've got to build.
They haven't got it. They haven't got it. And it was our own Supreme Court who judged that Rwanda was not a safe place.
Outrageous decision.
We've got an open border globalist as a leader, and it seems like you're one too, Nina.
I'm not an open border globalist.
Bring Mark in here, because this story here...
I am not.
Look, there's a basket of things that the French are supposed to be doing now. So, firstly, just basic police work in these camps, which is not happening. Then you've got the idea that they are supposed to be helping to tackle human traffickers in their country. That does not appear to be happening. We've shown that. And then you've got, when you catch someone red-handed, not actually prosecuting them or prosecuting them and not putting them in prison. Does Keir Starmer have the bottle, do you think, ever to go to Emmanuel Macron and say, look, mate, what are you doing?
Well, he should be able to do that. This is why I've always argued our relationship with the French should not be a grant. It should be payment by results. I know that sounds a bit Wild West and putting a bounty on people's heads, but I want to know how many people they've caught, how many people they've imprisoned, how many gangs they've shut down, and we'll work out a fair price for policing that.
Mark, I kind of think the answer has to be that both have a win-win, and actually France has got to do Rwanda with the UK, and it's not passing people between them, it's going straight to Rwanda, and we both have a win-win.
Surely this shows, Mark, that we have no other option but to start mass deportations ourselves. We can try to talk to the Germans about it, we can get them to sign something that has to go through their parliament at some point by the end of the year. Then we can try to do stuff with the French, we can give them a load of money. The ultimate thing has to be, irrefutably now, that we deport people ourselves.
Absolutely that, and what we're doing is we're picking them up off the beach and moving them into a hotel. I mean, every signal we're sending is that we are a soft touch, and it is pretty easy to get here, and once you are here, it is pretty hard to get rid of you.
Why aren't we processing them faster? No. Why aren't we processing them faster?
Well, quite.
Is it because the Home Office, which has never been fit for purpose, is still not fit for purpose, and that people are working from home and playing golf rather than...
Can I just say, when people destroy the documentation, you can't send them anywhere, and that's why you needed a third country,
you need to be tough on these people.
Which was Rwanda.
You need to be tough on these people. I was picking up what the Greeks do on this. If you turn up without any documentation, they say, well, where are you from then? And you say you're from Kabul or Baghdad. They then bring in an expert to cross-examine you about, all right, what's your favourite restaurant in Kabul? How's the local transport system work? And if you hesitate, deviate, or do not come across as credible, you're out. We aren't as tough here, and we need to bring in those sort of techniques that have worked well in other European countries.
But this is the kind of thing that I don't think either Emmanuel Macron or Sir Keir Starmer wants you to know about, which is, like I've said before, bloke caught red-handed with a boat, an outboard motor, and a load of gasoline in the back of his van at a migrant hotspot, let off by the courts. He's free to wander around Europe going forward. I don't think they want that stuff brought to your attention, but, here we are.